Charles, we've had, again, you saw the image of this coming through Bluff in Fayette County. It looked like a sizable tornado, and again, that came in via social media, and we thank everybody for taking the time to send in these pictures. You are our eyes to the world.
James, we're probably going to see some widespread power outages as we head into the evening hours. It's probably a good idea, maybe check on family via cell phone, or remember, if you're in the path, you can use your cell phone app to watch us streaming as long as you have some sort of at least Wi-Fi at the house, or if the power goes out, you have to use that data, but well worth that to follow our coverage on the all-in-one app.
Yeah, and if we can leave the double box up here, we're going to, and Brian, we're in the dark now. We were hoping we'd see some action here during the daylight hours, but I'm afraid it's going to be a dark kind of thing. Tell us where you are now. And I think we lost. Yeah, go ahead, Brian. We got you now.
I'm about 5 miles north of Fayette right now, James. And anyway, although just as I say that, it seems to have abated some. Seeing some definite evidence of either hail or some fairly high wind with small pieces of, like the ends of limbs, that sort of stuff, in the roadway. So that could be hail or could be some fairly strong wind on the order of 35, 40 miles an hour.
Okay, and again, Brian, you're in a spot where the data's kind of tough. Your image is frozen. Your phone is coming in and out. We can hear you now. But if you see something up there, just break into what I'm saying here, and because we want to hear from you. For those of you that are joining us, we have a very dangerous storm with the possibility of a tornado that is coming up on Interstate 22 and Old U.S. Highway 78. Old 78 is branded here as Alabama Highway 118. This is Alabama Highway 13 that runs up from just west of Berry, goes up toward Haleyville. But again, the dangerous spot right here, it's going to be around Eldridge. Eldridge is at the intersection of Alabama 118 and Alabama 113. And then Interstate 22, of course, the new highway is up here just north of there. But obviously, nobody should be traveling along Old Highway 78, which is now Alabama 118, or Interstate 22 until this thing gets off to the north. And if our friends in the news department could check on Fayette County and Hubbardville, that would be really nice. We get some support from you guys. We'd love to know if there's been any damage with Fayette County Sheriff's Office. We're getting a lot of reports, and we don't like to pass along reports that are not confirmed or substantiated because this came right through the community of Hubbardville. We're hoping that people heard the warning and got into a safe place. We do know also a note that many of the trees are down on Highway 96 around Millport. That's the road that goes back into Columbus, and we would not advise traveling along Alabama Highway 96. I don't think you can get through right now. But again, this thing is still very tight. Let's put the high-res radar behind me. Again, this is going to show the velocity product, and that thing is still extremely tight. And that's what a tornado looks like in the velocity display. And while we're looking at this, let's take a look at the correlation coefficient product. And we'll see if by chance we can see any sign of debris being lofted. And boy, we sure can. This is what we call a TDS right here. That is a tornado debris signature. This is not a good sign. That is debris that is being lofted. So this is a very violent situation. The tornado is about to cross Alabama 118. That is Old U.S. Highway 78. Then it crosses Interstate 22, very close to Eldridge right here. So we are seriously asking you, if you by chance are listening to me on your phone or by radio, and if you're on your car, do not drive between Jasper and Winfield. We're just going to make it simple. We can narrow it down. But again, this is a storm that has got a very large TDS, a tornado debris signature right now, and that is debris that is being lofted.
And James, we got word on County Road 44, so much damage and debris, trees down, that it's actually blocked completely. So if Brian can hear us, you need to know that, Brian, getting up in that direction.
Right. And again, Brian, the goal here is to, if you can, safely check on the community of Hubbardville. But obviously, we've had the tornado cross County Road 44. We've got a lot of damage in through here. Again, this is a situation where we really advise you to take this thing seriously. You see the spot of blue, all you need to know, that is debris that is being lofted by what could be a large tornado. And again, we have had many reports and pictures of this as it came through the northern part of Fayette County. So this is a storm that is extremely dangerous. If you live in Eldridge, you got to be in a safe place now. You should have been there 20 minutes ago, but you've got to be in a safe place now. That's no mobile home. If you live in a mobile home, your plan is to leave, and you can't come up with a plan when there's a tornado 5 miles away. You develop a plan on a sunny day. But you've got to be out of the mobile home. You've got to be out of a car. But if you're in a site-built structure, a small room on the lowest floor near the center and away from windows, all right? So that is the TDS you see behind me right there. I'll change the product, and let's go back to the storm or the velocity display. And that thing is very tight, and it's basically about to come up on the town of Eldridge right here. And I'm still calling those of you in Kansas and Carbon Hill to be in a safe place. More than likely, this is going to be passing well to the west of Carbon Hill, but is a course of least regret. If you're in Kansas or Carbon Hill, you want to be in a safe place because you're in the polygon. If you're in the polygon, you're respected. And if you're not, you don't worry about it. You're going about your business. That's why these polygons are set up this way. And understand this will be moving from its current location near Eldridge. The next community in the path of this thing is Nauvoo. All right, so if you're in the community of Nauvoo, that's up Highway 5, you be in a safe place now. Nauvoo is in Walker County. Lynn is in Winston County up here. And obviously, if this continues moving on towards the northeast, we're going to need a warning for parts of Winston County, which is up and through here. But again, what could be a sizable tornado is near the community of Eldridge in Walker County now, moving northeast, and the next community in the path is going to be Nauvoo. It is dark. It is going to be very hard to see basically anything in this situation. And again, I think we probably have lost Brian's feed off the that. And if you can bring up John Brown's and maybe just swipe down John's, we've got John Brown who is out, and we'll take, again, let's double box.
He's getting a lot of lightning there.
Right, and what I can do is do a swipe over and get John's location. We got GPS on everybody, and we'll tell you exactly where John is. But again, we're watching a situation where we have what could be a rain-wrapped tornado in the dark. These are very hard to deal with, and I mean very hard to deal with, near Eldridge in Walker County, moving northeast. And all we have to do is wait and hope that we get some lightning to illuminate something that we can recognize on these live streams. And again, as soon as we and what's happened, if we've had a tornado come through northern Fayette County, and I'm very confident we have, getting cell service, it's going to be next to impossible. So Brian Peters is up there where the cell service is questionable. He's probably lost that. In fact, we don't have Brian on the phone, do we? I don't think we do. Now, John is in Barry. John is on Highway 18 in Barry, and John is also going to be coming up into this thing. And again, with John's stream, it's just a lot of darkness right there.
That latest scan is right on top of Eldridge.
Yeah, it is. And again, what you're watching behind me, this is very high-resolution radar data. And you can see that we've got what could be a very significant tornado that is right on Eldridge. And I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to change the radar back over here to Birmingham. We've been working off the Columbus, Mississippi NexRad, and we're almost getting to a point now where the data is going to be a little clearer maybe from Birmingham. The object of the game is to get the beam as low as you can. The radar beam goes in a straight line. The Earth curves. So with the distance from the radar, then you're going to see the beam get higher and higher and higher. And this beam out here is probably 5,000 feet off the ground. So the only way we know what's happening down at the surface, it is the trained spotters. That's why we're doing spotter training. We've had great crowds. We'll be, our big show is April 9th at the BJCC. If you want to help us, we encourage you to get involved. But again, based on the data we're seeing now from Birmingham, this is a very violent tornado that is about to cross Interstate 22 between Kansas and Eldridge. More than likely, it is still producing some very significant damage. I want to look at the correlation coefficient product coming from Birmingham to see if we have a negative value there, and it is not showing up now from Birmingham. We saw it from Columbus, and it might be that we're a tad close. It's almost equidistant.
It's still there, yeah. If you go back to Columbus, I think you'll see it there just west of Eldridge.
Right. In fact, what I'll do while we're looking at this, I'll go back up and pop on the Columbus radar site, and we'll take a look at it. And yet it's still there. You can see that little negative spot right there. That is a TDS, a tornado debris signature that is basically right on top of Eldridge. All right, so that is a very dangerous storm, and we advise everybody to take this very seriously. I think that most people in this state are aware of that, and they do. That's a look at the reflectivity display. I'll show the velocity display. And again, you can see a very tight rotation right at Eldridge, and if this continues moving up towards the northeast, that's going to affect the community of Nauvoo. All right, we got Brian Peters back, and Brian, if you would tell us exactly where you are and what you've got.
Okay, James, I'm coming up 43 to Winfield. I have not seen any kind of damage path across US 43.
Okay.
There have been a number of locations where there were small debris from leaves and that sort of thing, but nothing in the way of trees down.